Stop! Don't buy the 15-inch MacBook Air. Buy this computer instead. And this is why. Hey, what's up guys? It's TechSumer talking to you here. And in today's video, I want to tell you why I don't think you should buy the 15-inch MacBook Air, but instead, buy the 14-inch MacBook Pro. The M1 Pro version or the M2 Pro. Yes, this is my final opinion of the 15-inch MacBook Air. It is not worth it. Unless you are buying the base model, of course. This is the big exception. Unless you are buying the base model 15-inch MacBook Air, then it is not worth it. Of course, I just gave you the whole idea of the video and a whole final thought of the video on the first 20 seconds, but I need to be as clear as possible. So if you were thankful enough, then you could watch the whole video to understand why and what are my reasons. And of course, you drop a like down below and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get started. So, why am I telling you not to buy the 15-inch MacBook Air? Well, really easy. The 15-inch MacBook Air starts at $1299, and the base model is worth it. I think so. I think that the base model gives you tons of stuff for the price. Gives you an amazing 15-inch display, which is much bigger and much better than the 13-inch MacBook Air for only $200 more. Gives you the full fat M2, gives you 8GB of RAM, 256GB of storage in a very well-designed package. Very premium computer with amazing speakers, not as good as the Pro models, but still really good. Amazing display, amazing keyboard, the best trackpad in the business, and the build quality of a very, very premium computer for only $1299. But the problems start when you start upgrading the specs of this computer. When you buy storage or RAM, for example, if you buy RAM, you will have to pay $200 more on top of those $1299, which would cost you now $1,500. And if you decide to upgrade the storage, then it would cost you $1,700. This, compared to a new M2 Pro 14-inch MacBook Pro, is really getting close. The 14-inch MacBook Pro starts at $1999, and even for the extra $300 that you are paying, I think it's really worth it. You get the same amount of storage and RAM as this $1,700 15-inch MacBook Air, and you get the mini LED 120Hz ProMotion display, you get a way better speaker system, you get, in my opinion, better battery life, and of course, you still get amazing performance with the M2 Pro chip. Much, much faster and much more powerful than the M2. But now you are questioning yourself, why should I spend $300 more? $300 is still a lot of difference. Well, that's where you are wrong. I think that you should not buy the M2 Pro MacBook Pro 14-inch on full price. No, try to find one on Amazon on a discount, $150, $200 off, or even better, buy the M1 Pro version on Amazon, on other websites that are selling it refurbished. For this price, on Apple for example, you can get it for $1,500, which is cheaper than the 15-inch MacBook Air with $200 on top of $200 of upgrades. So a $400 upgrade on that. So if you can find a $1,500 M1 Pro 14-inch MacBook Pro, you will get the 120Hz ProMotion mini LED display, the amazing I/O, the amazing trackpad and keyboard, the better speaker system of those two, and in my opinion, the better build quality in general, because that computer is more compact. Although it's thicker, it's more premium, feels more premium, heavier. And I think that the differences between that computer and the 15-inch Air in terms of portability are unreasonable, because the 15-inch Air is bigger, wider, not as thicker, but I think that portability measures in length. Most of our backpacks are limited by the length of the computer, or at least the width, not the thickness. So I do believe that the 15-inch MacBook Air is less portable than the 14-inch MacBook Pro. And if you can find the M1 Pro version for $1,500, then there's even no conversation on that. But I think that the base model 15-inch MacBook Air is where the whole value resides, because that computer has an amazing 15-inch screen, an amazing keyboard, trackpad, has two Thunderbolt 3 ports, has one N4 jack, one MagSafe port, has the 15-inch design and size, which a lot of people actually like, and has an amazing 6-speaker system. But again, the M1 Pro / M2 Pro versions of the MacBook Pros also have a 14-inch display, which is really, really close to the 15-inch display on a smaller body, because this 14-inch display has very, very thin bezels. So when compared to the 15 inches, thicker bezels, they're actually very, very close. A 14-inch body and a 14-inch display feels almost like the 15-inch body and the 15-inch display on a very, very much smaller body, that is the 14-inch. So the 14-inch, when compared to the 15-inch, looks really smaller, but actually the screen is about the same size. So you are not giving up that much screen real estate, and you are getting a much more portable body. I know, it's heavier, but if you compare it, it's about like 0.1 pounds of a difference, so not that much. I think the MacBook Pro is 3.4 pounds or 3.2 pounds and the MacBook Air is 3.3 pounds. So I think they're about the same weight. So you are not giving up nothing in terms of portability. You are getting a better computer in general. And if you get the M1 Pro or even the M2 Pro, those chips are much better, especially on GPU performance when compared to the M2. And of course, on bigger loads. Because don't forget that the 15-inch MacBook Air is a fanless computer, while the 14-inch MacBook Pro is not. So on a very sustained load, like if you are doing a more intensive work for a longer piece of time, then it's much better to get the 14-inch MacBook Pro. So I think that the 15-inch MacBook Air is a really niche computer, and it only serves as a ladder to upgrade to further on the MacBook lineup. Just like the iPhone 14 Plus and the iPhone 15 Plus in the future, this computer was built for people that go into the Apple Store and they want the cheapest, biggest laptop they can find. Before, Apple only sold the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and those people would see the price of $2,500 or $2,600 to start, and they would say, too expensive, I'm going away, I'm buying a Windows computer. Now, they can go into the store, ask what's the cheapest and biggest computer that they have. They will say, of course, we have this amazing, beautiful 15-inch MacBook Air, the computer that you love on the MacBook Air, just bigger, for only $1,300. Those people will buy the base model, and those will be the happiest. But if you go into the Apple Store website and you decide to spec it out, you are doing a bad deal. I think you should buy the 14-inch MacBook Pro instead, and that's my final answer. And I think every YouTuber out there will agree with me. The 14-inch MacBook Pro, in general, the M1 Pro, the M2 Pro, the base model is the best value Mac ever made. It's the best Mac ever made. Because, I mean, this computer has everything. Has a storage, has the RAM, 16 gigabytes of RAM, has amazing power to efficiency chip, which is the M2 Pro / M1 Pro, has an amazing compact design with a beautiful screen. The 14-inch MacBook Pro screen is insane. I have a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and the 14-inch MacBook Pro is the same screen, just a tiny bit smaller. So, I mean, I understand why people love this screen. It's insanely good. Like, I cannot trade any of this screen for anything. I mean, I have to be very careful when buying external displays because they all look like crap when compared to my MacBook Pro's display. But still, that computer is really good. And the 14-inch MacBook Pro is just a computer like that in a smaller package, much cheaper. So I think everyone would benefit just to buy the 14-inch MacBook Pro instead of the 15-inch MacBook Air. But I understand there are some people that just want the biggest laptop possible for the lowest amount of money. So, makes sense the 15-inch MacBook Air exists. But still, I think you should not buy it. So, let me know in the comments down below what you think. As for the performances of those chips, if you are still questioning, oh, maybe the M2 is better than the M1 Pro if I want to buy it refurbished. Well, I mean, these are the results for Geekbench 5. As for the M2 chip, it scores 1904 for single-core performance and 8363 for multi-core performance. As for the M1 Pro, it kind of gets behind on the single-core performance with 1361. As for the M1 Pro, it goes even further, averaging more than 20% more performance on multi-core. This is because it has 2 more cores than the M2, so again, the M1 Pro is faster. So, as you saw, the M1 Pro still smashes the M2 chip. So, doesn't make any sense that you should buy the M2 because of performance. It won't happen. Like, the M1 Pro is faster. Although the single core performance on the M2 is faster, I mean, the M1 Pro has more cores, more performance cores, the GPU has more cores, they are faster, they are better. So the M1 Pro, especially the M1 Pro, is much better than the M2. I mean, what I want to say, you have a better chip, a better display, a better keyboard, a better I/O, so because you have 3 Thunderbolt 3 ports, HDMI, you have SD card slot, which it might sound like, oh, that's for only pros. It isn't. HDMI is really useful for normal people that want to go to school, university, or on work. They want to connect it to a projector, to a TV, to a monitor, and they don't have an adapter on them, then they are screwed if they don't have the 14-inch MacBook Pro instead of the 15-inch MacBook Air. So there's a lot of things that actually make me recommend the MacBook Pro 14-inch for you and not the 15-inch MacBook Air. And so I decided to make this video to warn all of you. Now, all the reviews are coming out, everyone is talking about the 15-inch MacBook Air, and everyone is forgetting about the 14-inch MacBook Pro. Still, the best value Mac available. Don't buy the 15-inch MacBook Air before checking out a 14-inch MacBook Pro refurbished. This is my final advice for you. Don't buy the 15-inch MacBook Air, try to find a 14-inch MacBook Pro. As for the 13-inch MacBook Air, I have some reservations because I'm not done yet recommending this computer. I think if you buy the base model again, it's a great deal, $1099. But there's some room to make improvements there. if you buy the 512 gigabytes of storage and you keep the same 8 gigabytes of RAM, this computer will cost you $12.99, the same price as the 15-inch MacBook Air. And you will get the same battery life, you will get the same amazing screen, a little bit smaller, yes, but this 13-inch screen is almost like a 14-inch screen, so it's really, really close to the 15-inch, and the body is even more portable and lighter, which the 15-inch MacBook Air is actually not that light. It's thin, but not that light. And I think that the 13-inch, because it's smaller, and it's actually as thin as the 15-inch, won't flex as much. So the build quality will be better, and in general, for $12.99, I can still recommend buying the 13-inch MacBook Air with 512 gigabytes of storage. Again, if you decide to upgrade the RAM on top of that, it will cost you $14.99, and on that price, you can find an M1 Pro refurbished, 14-inch MacBook Pro. So, again, be very careful when upgrading the MacBook Air lineup, buy the base models wherever you want to, and only upgrade the 13-inch and only the storage. So, be very, very careful. So, let me know in the comments below what you think, and while you're there, don't forget to drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and of course, follow my social networks, Twitter, Instagram. This has been Tech Summer talking to you here. Bye-bye.